News Channel 15 presents The Film Reel, the talk show where we discuss everything going on in the world of movies and television, with hosts Bryce West and Ian Lloyd. This is The Film Reel. Hello and welcome into The Film Reel, the talk show where we discuss everything going on in the world of movies and television. I'm Bryce West.
And I'm Ian Lloyd.
And today we're going to be reviewing Disney Pixar's Elemental, which released in theaters this weekend. But first, let's do a quick recap of this week's box office report.
Coming in at number 5 is The Boogeyman, starring Sophie Thatcher, Chris Messina, and Vivian Lyra Blair. Still reeling from the tragic death of their mother, a teenage girl and her younger sister find themselves plagued by a sadistic presence in their house and struggle to get their grieving father to pay attention before it's too late. The film brought in $7.2 million, dropping 42.1% from last weekend. For The Film Reel, I'm Eli Grimes.
Coming in at number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 starring Chris Pratt, Chakotay Awuji, and Bradley Cooper. Still reeling from the loss of Gamora, Peter Quill rallies his team to defend the universe and one of their own. A mission that could mean the end of the Guardians if not successful. The film brought in $7.2 million, dropping 32.3% from last weekend. For The Film Reel, I'm Tegan Roll.
Coming in at number 3 is The Little Mermaid starring Halle Bailey, Jonah Hauer-King, and Melissa McCarthy. A young mermaid makes a deal with a sea witch to trade her beautiful voice for human legs so she can discover the world above water and impress a prince. The film brought in $23.2 million, dropping 44.1% from last weekend. For The Film Reel, I'm Mallory Burton.
Coming in at number 2 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, starring Shameik Moore and Haley Steinfeld. Miles Morales catapults across the multiverse, where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. When the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles must redefine what it means to be a hero. The film brought in $55.5 million, dropping 54% from last weekend. For The Film Reel, I'm Drew Poundton.
Coming in at number 1 is Transformers Rise of the Beasts, starring Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback. During the 90s, a new faction of Transformers, the Maximals, joined the Autobots as allies in the battle for Earth. The film opened with $61 million. For The Film Reel, I'm Ian Klingler.
Yeah, so as we discussed last time, Transformers comes in at number 1. Not really a huge surprise. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse trailing behind at number 2. Number 3 is The Little Mermaid. Number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And number 5, The Boogeyman, staying in the top 5.
Yeah, still has legs, still holding on.
With that being said, we're going to go over our predictions for next week in the box office showdown. We already discussed this in the last episode, but just in case you missed it, we'll go ahead and go over it again. So I predict that Flash, which opened this weekend, we reviewed in the last episode, will easily make it to number 1. But I do think Spider-Man will actually stay at number 2, and then Transformers will go down to number 3. Elemental, which we're going to be discussing later on today, I think will open in at number 4, unfortunately. And then number 5, I have The Little Mermaid.
Well, I think my first 2, I'm with you on that. Flash, number 1, Spider-Man, number 2. That one's going to still hold strong. And then I think this new Disney movie is going to get to number 3, Elemental for number 3, and then Transformers going down a notch. And then I'm going to boot Little Mermaid out because there's a new Disney movie out this week. So I'm going to say Guardians is still holding on last legs on number 5.
That would be incredible. Honestly, I would prefer to see that, if I'm being honest. But yeah, and then for our punishment for next week, the loser has to watch Armageddon since we're reviewing Asteroid City. A little bit of a stretch with the theme.
A bit different of an asteroid movie, but an asteroid movie nonetheless.
But with that being said, we're going to take a quick break, and then after this, we're going to be reviewing Carl's Date, which is the most recent Pixar animated short, and then we're also going to be reviewing Disney Pixar's Elemental coming up.
News Channel 15, winner of the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System Award for the nation's best community college TV station.
I am Jordan Crow. I'm a registered nurse and director of case management here at Wabash General Hospital. I started my journey with Wabash General Hospital in 2011 and a part of the Health Occupations program. After that experience, I decided I did want to pursue nursing. What matters the most to me about working at Wabash General Hospital is the flexibility that it allows for me to live and work close to home. It allows more time with my family and also allows me the opportunity to serve the community that I grew up in.
Come see the Tri-State's largest display of high-quality, affordable furniture and home decor at Timberlake Furniture. With a warehouse spanning more than 8 football fields in length, you'll find what you're looking for and can take it home with you the same day. Shop the latest styles from the name brands you know and trust, all at the lowest prices anywhere. Check out our huge selection of top-quality mattresses from Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, and Stearns & Foster. And shop our closeout mattress sale going on now. Timberlake Furniture, so your house feels like home.
Welcome back into the film reel. Today we're going to be reviewing Carl's Date as well as Disney Pixar's Elementals. We're going to start off with Carl's Date, which played before Elementals. And this is a really, cute little short film about Carl, the main character from Up, going on a date for the first time since losing his wife. And I thought this was a very, very cute epilogue to Up.
Mm-hmm. I definitely didn't think it was needed, really, but seeing it, it is fun to see these characters once again for first time in over 10 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, I definitely not a needed story to be told, but I'm not disappointed with what we got. I thought it was really fun and interesting to see Doug be almost like a wingman to Carl. I thought that was very fun. And this is the final performance of Ed Asner, who voices Carl. And I think this was a pretty worthy send-off to him and the character. Pixar has kind of called this the final project in the Up universe, which is an interesting way to put it. But I think this being a short film is really nice, especially since if you go back and look at the original Up, I feel like it is so well received because of the first 10 minutes.
Yes.
And so honestly, if they had just made Up a short film, I think it would be one of the great, it would be a cinematic masterpiece that people say that it is.
Yeah.
I think seeing this short film, seeing these Up characters in short form, proves that these characters work really well in that type of format.
It's quite sweet, and if you get a chance, definitely go see it.
Yeah, for sure. But if you go see Carl's Date, you got to go see Elemental too, because Carl's Date plays right before Elemental. This is something that Pixar does with pretty much most of their features, is they have a short film that plays in front of the feature, and the feature for this is Elemental, and it's good. It's not Pixar's greatest by any means. It's not even really close, unfortunately. But it's a fun, cute little film.
I think it could have been much worse. The artistic style of this movie is just stunning. I love the new way these characters look and move about. It's kind of great. It's a new kind of form that we haven't really seen Pixar do before, and I think they do it really well.
Yeah, I mean, Pixar really likes to do the sort of motif of blank, but with feelings.
Yeah.
And this is definitely one of those films where it's like, okay, what if Elements had feelings? And considering they've used this motif so many times at this point, it still works pretty well in this. It feels like it's fresh. It feels like it's new. It doesn't feel like it's retreading over older Pixar films in any way.
To me, I feel like this concept almost feels like a parody that somebody else would say, oh, that's a Pixar film right there, using the elements as characters. And I don't really think that it works incredibly well with what the movie's trying to do. I think visually it's great, but I don't know if it meshes well with the story as well.
Well, I mean, I feel like the elements work really well in the sense of the film really is about, throughout the whole portion of the film, the two main characters, Ember and Wade, are being told, oh, you two can't be together because you're fire, you're water. I mean, and the message of the film is you two can't be together because you're this type of person and I'm this type of person. And learning that isn't necessarily the case. And I think having those two being sort of opposite elements to each other really does does the message pretty well. I mean, don't get me wrong, the message is really on the nose throughout the whole film, but I do think that it was executed really well with these two main characters and having the romance between the two, because this is sort of the first time that we've had a full-on Pixar romance, which I thought was pretty interesting.
I really enjoyed that the stakes were not like hindering on a secret antagonist or any kind of villain. It was more just very personal with these two characters and their relationship together. About like, I kind of wanted more from that romance.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because this film really doesn't have an antagonist. I mean, it's kind of themselves working against themselves. Ember is kind of her own antagonist in this, which is a really interesting take, because Disney does like to do that a lot, where it's just like, surprise, this person is the bad guy, and it really got old pretty much as soon as they started doing it. I think the first film that comes to mind that did that was Big Hero 6. It wasn't a Pixar film, but it was a Disney film, and it's just like, okay, this is really lame. And then they continue to keep doing that. And Elementals doesn't do that, which is definitely nice to see. I think another thing that Elementals has going for it is the world. I think the world of the different elements is really cool. How like there's like a fireplace, like a water place, earth place, air place, that kind of stuff. And whenever they do interact with each other, it's pretty interesting to see all the different elements interact, even though they're a lot of the times not really supposed to. There's this whole thing like elements don't mix and that kind of stuff. But whenever they do, it makes it pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I do feel like we got a lot of like the water area and the fire area. We didn't get much of the earth, and we definitely didn't get a whole lot of like the air. We got like one scene that was like more focused on air people, but I would have liked to see more of that, and I would have liked to see even like more elements, maybe. I don't know where you can go with it.
Well, maybe Elemental 2.
No. Here's hoping.
I don't know. I definitely don't think that this is going to perform very well financially, so I wouldn't really be counting on a Elemental 2, which we'll be talking about Pixar's financials later on in the show. But I think this is definitely a decent Pixar film, but it doesn't really come anywhere close to living up to like the original Pixar films, such as like Toy Story, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, Incredibles, those. And I think that's sort of been a trend that has been going on. And Pixar really hasn't found their next Toy Story, their next Incredibles. And I think that's definitely, it's been hurting them here lately.
I definitely think that even with the new slew of movies that Pixar has made, this is definitely one of the weaker ones alongside Lightyear. It just, it's fun in the moment a little bit. It's a nice Pixar movie to see if you like Pixar movies, but once you leave the theater, it just kind of leaves you with nothing to chew on.
Yeah, I mean, I will actually agree with you on that. I've been mostly positive about this, but if you're not a Pixar fan, there's not really much of a reason to go see this one. Just for fun, just because. I think you really kind of have to be sort of into the whole Pixar world or the Pixar universe or series of movies to really get into this one.
If you're looking for a new Pixar movie and you haven't seen most of their movies as of recently, I would recommend going back and seeing Turning Red. That one's still super good, and I think this one kind of falls flat for me.
Yeah, well, with that being said, we're going to take a quick break, and then after this, Kane Jones is going to give his top 10 picks for his favorite Pixar features.
For over a century, the First National Bank has been here, serving our local communities. We're proud to still be locally owned and managed, with friendly customer service from people that you know and trust. We're here to support our neighbors, investing in our communities. We're proud to provide the latest in digital banking technology, serving as your complete financial partner. Visit us online at fnba.bank or stop by one of our convenient locations in Allendale, Mount Carmel, Carmine, or West Salem today. The First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Have your weather radio, have a flashlight with batteries in it, make sure your cell phone's charged, know where you're going to go when bad weather hits. Go to the lowest interior room in your house and wait the storm out. After the storm, if your power's out or if there's any kind of dangerous situation or anything like that, call Mount Carmel Public Utility Company. As you go outside to survey the damage a little bit, just make sure to stay away from down power lines.
College doesn't have to start at an expensive school far away. You can save money and be close to home at Wabash Valley College. Many careers only require a 2-year degree or certificate. Or get your general education classes out of the way and transfer to a 4-year school. Wabash Valley College has programs in high-demand careers such as physical therapy assistant, advanced manufacturing, marketing, business management, nursing, and radio television. To find out more about Wabash Valley College, go to iecc.edu/WVC.
Now, more of the Film Reel with Kane Jones.
Hello everyone, I'm Kane Jones, and for this segment, we are talking my all-time top 10 Pixar films. And we're gonna go in reverse order here. So in the 10 spot, Coco, a newer film. The music, the soundtrack was incredible to it. And so for that, I have Coco sitting in the 10 spot. Number 9, a little bit older, WALL-E. WALL-E was a good family film. Just all things about it were incredible. So I got that in the 9th spot there. The next one I have for you, a very wholesome film, Pixar, Up. I have Up in the 8th spot, just ahead of WALL-E. And I will say, before I go on, that a lot of these that I have in the back and towards the middle here of the list, they can be interchangeable. I will say that. But in the 8th spot, I do have Up. It's just the whole thing about it was so incredible and heartwarming. So I got Up in the 8th spot. Following that, I have A Bug's Life, a much older Pixar film, in the 7th spot. Bug's Life is one that I don't think a lot of people saw coming. A very interesting concept. And for that, I have Bug's Life in the 7th spot. The next, moving on, and kind of with that similar vein, what I was trying to say was that just with the whole like kind of animal aspect, but bringing in an element that was very interesting with the film that I have in the 6th spot, which is Ratatouille. Yeah, Ratatouille I have in the 6th spot, and like I said, I don't know. I like all these, and I have Ratatouille in the 6th spot, just ahead of Bug's Life. But like I said, I mean, I like all these, so like Bug's Life easily could have crept in the 6th, but for now, I got Ratatouille in the 6th spot there. 5, kind of shifting completely to a whole different concept. Cars. I have Cars in the 5th spot there. Cars, again, was one that I feel like a lot of people didn't see coming. And so for that, I have Cars in the 5th spot. Now, the top 5 right here, we're getting into the ones that I really enjoyed. I just loved from start to finish. Is, and in the 4th spot, I have Incredibles, The Incredibles. And it really was incredible, pun intended. And so that's why I have it in the 4th spot. Again, just a wholesome family film. You know, everyone, it was meant for everyone to enjoy it, so Incredibles is in the 4th spot. And here's my top 3. Rounding out the top 3 is Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is in the 3rd spot. Again, just another incredible film that was almost flawless from top to bottom, but I have that in the 3rd spot. Now, the top 2, when we're talking the top 2, we're just talking about the best films that are just flawless, right, from start to finish. And like I when we're creeping up this, I would say that it kind of gets harder and harder to choose, but I had Finding Nemo in the 3rd spot, right? Well, just beating it out, in my opinion, for the 2nd spot, I have Monsters, Inc., Monsters Incorporated. Again, another film that is just really good. The concept, everything about it, almost a masterpiece, but not quite. When you're getting up, I mean, these are the heavy hitters here. This is the top 5. Monsters, Inc. sitting at the 2 spot. And finally, in the numero uno, the very top spot of the list, number 1, I had Toy Story. Yep, Toy Story. And in my opinion, Toy Story is from start to finish, top to bottom, it's a masterpiece, and that's my opinion. But it's awesome, just everything about it. The cast that voiced every character, the effects, the concept, just everything about it was just flawless. I keep using the word flawless, but it's true. Toy Story in the #1 spot. And yeah, that rounds out my top 10 Pixar films of all time, my personal favorite, my personal list. And there you go.
News Channel 15, winner of the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System Award for the nation's best community college TV station.
For over a century, the First National Bank has been here, serving our local communities. We're proud to still be locally owned and managed, with friendly customer service from people that you know and trust. We're here to support our neighbors, investing in our communities. We're proud to provide the latest in digital banking technology, serving as your complete financial partner. Visit us online at fnba.bank or stop by one of our convenient locations in Allendale, Mount Carmel, Carmine, or West Salem today. The First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We're your friends, your neighbors, and we support our community. For over 100 years, we've been here, leading the way in community service and innovation. We are Mount Carmel Public Utility Company.
I am Jordan Crow. I'm a registered nurse and director of case management here at Wabash General Hospital. I started my journey with Wabash General Hospital in 2011 and a part of the Health Occupations program. After that experience, I decided I did want to pursue nursing. What matters the most to me about working at Wabash General Hospital is the flexibility that it allows for me to live and work close to home. It allows more time with my family and also allows me the opportunity to serve the community that I grew up in.
Come see the Tri-State's largest display of high-quality, affordable furniture and home decor at Timberlake Furniture. With a warehouse spanning more than 8 football fields in length, you'll find what you're looking for and can take it home with you the same day. Shop the latest styles from the name brands you know and trust, all at the lowest prices anywhere. Check out our huge selection of top-quality mattresses from Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, and Stearns & Foster. And shop our closeout mattress sale going on now. Timberlake Furniture, so your house feels like home.
College doesn't have to start at an expensive school far away. You can save money and be close to home at Wabash Valley College. Many careers only require a 2-year degree or certificate. Or get your general education classes out of the way and transfer to a 4-year school. Wabash Valley College has programs in high-demand careers such as physical therapy assistant, advanced manufacturing, marketing, business management, nursing, and radio television. To find out more about Wabash Valley College, go to iecc.edu/WVC.
When life gets boring, music can make us excited. But are your playlists too boring and you desperately need new music? Well, 89.1 The Bash can help. 89.1 The Bash has your new favorite alternative pop, throwback, and rock music that'll get you moving. Can't listen on the radio? Listen to us on our website, bashradio.com, where you'll be able to meet the DJs and see who's providing you with the best music content live. Listen to 89.1 The Bash, today's hit alternative.
From News Channel 15.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Monday night. I'm Kyle Peach reporting.
Right now I'm here at the Riverview Stadium, otherwise known as the Snake Pit.
Well, that wintry precip south of 64 happened last night, and White and Hamilton.
Now the spin, now hands out. Shalana Wagner, top of the key, nothing but the bottom.
Hello and welcome to the Not So Late Show.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Sports Cubed.
That does it for us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.
Welcome back into the Filmer. We're going to wrap things up here today, talking about what's going wrong at Pixar. Because if you look at their box office results 5 to 10 years ago, And to now, they look like a completely different company. Compared to their box office reports or results, but before, Pixar now almost seems like an independent film developer or production company. So what's going wrong?
I think the main thing, we got to remember that a global pandemic wiped out the world for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it kind of left a lot of these just movies kind of kneecapped at the box office. And I also think that plays a part into people not wanting to venture out to the theater, and they just want to wait for it to get on streaming services.
Yeah, I think, well, with the past few Pixar, I think Lightyear was the first one to come back to theaters.
Yes.
Did not go well at all. But I believe Soul, Luca, and Turning Red were all straight to Disney Plus original films.
Yes.
And I think that sort of set a precedent for people just to assume that the Pixar films would just go straight to Disney Plus. And I think it made people realize that, oh, I can just wait for it to come out on Disney Plus. I don't need to go see these out in the theater. We kind of talked about this a little bit with our Elemental review. And while I do think Elemental does something different with this format, it has gotten to the point where a lot of the Pixar films just seem like it's blank has feelings. There was even one where feelings have feelings, and so I mean, I think maybe people could be getting bored of that concept. That's just me kind of spitballing here, but I think a lot of it does have to do with COVID. It has to do with Disney Plus, but also, I mean, the quality of the films has just clearly dropped. Since the classics like Toy Story, Monsters Inc., Incredibles, those type of films. I mean, don't get me wrong, Pixar has had solid films in the past 5 years, but they haven't been like to the level of their earlier films.
I think it's hard to kind of want a studio like this to go back to like that type of thing without like the same creators, but we're getting a lot of new creators in right now that do have great voices. And besides Elemental and Lightyear, I think we're in like a really nice renaissance at the moment. They just haven't been able to flourish because of the pandemic and because they've been going straight to streaming services like Disney Plus. It's just they haven't been able to like shine in the box office yet.
Right. I think one of the things that the newer Pixar films has been doing really well is its diversity, especially within its characters. However, I think that might be something that could be hurting it too. With some there have been a lot of bigoted movements here lately of kind of boycotting the films due to Pixar's representation of minorities.
Yeah, that might be a small part, but that's a small vocal minority. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think mostly what has hampered Pixar the most, other than the pandemic, might just be the sequels and like that 2010 period of like busting out all of these sequels to their older films and like leaving the audience just kind of like untrustful or untrustworthy of like what Pixar is doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of those, I mean, we did get Toy Story 3, which was a spectacular conclusion to the Toy Story trilogy. But then we got Toy Story 4. And then we also had Finding Dory, which was just okay. And Incredibles 2, which Ian disagrees, but I think was just unbelievably awful.
I thought it was good.
We had, I believe Cars 2 and 3 were in the 2010s decade. So yeah, I mean, there were definitely some real stinkers in there.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, if we're looking at this financially, I think Pixar needs to go back to that if the studio is going to survive. I mean, don't get me wrong, still keep doing originals, but you gotta be bringing in some sequels in between there to the established franchises to get more people back in the seats, so you can afford to keep doing the originals and doing them well. We got Inside Out 2 coming out, which is gonna follow the main character Riley as a teenager. I think that could actually be fairly interesting, since the emotions from her being a kid to a teenager could be fairly different. Toy Story 5, that's super lame. I think they need to stop doing those. They've really run that franchise to death, but there's no denying that it will do fantastic in the box office.
I think I'm actually going to disagree with your point about the sequels. I think the best thing Pixar can do right now is break away from their past. And
that's what they've been doing.
Yeah, but with Elemental, they're just going right back to the feelings with feelings, and I want something new. I want them to go forward with something, and I don't think they're gonna go bankrupt anytime soon. It's Pixar.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, we're gonna wrap things up here on today's edition of the Film Reel. Thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned next week for more.